Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Words I Choose to Live By. I'm Cyrus Webb, joined by my co-host, Tina Siemens. Glad you all could join us for week 9 of 2026. Want to welcome those tuning in on the simulcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X. Going to bring in our friends over on IG so they can be a part of our chat. And last but certainly not least, going to connect with our friends over on Amazon Live. Tina and I were just talking about this message has both been a blessing for us, and we hope it's one that you all will be able to enjoy today as you're kicking off your week. We're now live on the Amazon side with Words I Choose to Live By. Going to type you guys in a welcome message over there. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, make sure you guys hit that follow button either here in this corner or down below. You also will see not only my book, Words I Choose to Live By, but you'll see Tina's books as well. As Tina's speaking during the show, I'll be toggling between her latest book, Post Oak, but also her first book, Seminole, Some People Never Give Up as well. But Tina, how you doing?
I am blessed. A beautiful start of the week again.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Focus Mindset. Focus Minds ENT over on IG. Hello to you, Ellen. Hello to you. Got a chance to meet Ellen, Tina, while I was in
Yay.
Virginia, in Petersburg, Virginia. So glad to be able to see you. So as I mentioned, it is a great message for us. But I want to first say, Tina, you and I always have such a great chat before the show begins. Can you believe this is the last week of February?
It's hard to believe. We're going into the end of the first quarter. Wow.
I know. It is amazing. When you and I rejoin each other next week, it'll be March already. And I
Yeah.
want to take a moment to reflect because both of us have been busy this year. What has this been like for you, Tina, already to see all the great things that are happening in 2026?
It just is like a springboard. If the rest of the year will be what the first 2 months have been, look out. We've got
Yeah.
lots of ground to cover.
Yes. I feel the same way. I wake up every day and think, first of all, what day is this? And then I
Yeah.
think, boy, how quickly time is flying because it is
Amen.
moving so quickly. And it goes into our message for today. So again, as I mentioned, it is week 9 of 2026, if you guys can believe that. The message is found on page 25 if you have your print edition of my book, Words That You Live By, and it's embracing your freedom. Feeling boxed in by your present circumstances? It's time to set yourself free. You might feel as though you are imprisoned to your current situation, but the key to unlocking your potential is within. Release yourself and enjoy the freedom that is waiting for you. It's just one decision away. And Tina, there's so much in this
Wow.
message. But
Yes.
I think for myself, I love the question that we all have to ask ourselves. Am I feeling boxed in or stifled by where I am? And if the
Mhm.
answer is yes, as the message says, it's time to set yourself free. And what it reminds me of, and Tina and I were talking about this, is that so many times we want to blame other people for why we're
Yes.
not where we want to be instead
Mhm.
of looking in the mirror and saying, okay, how much am I in my own way? And that's been the
Yeah.
case for me so many times that I look at myself and say, you're the reason why things aren't happening because you're not getting out of your own way. So, Tina, I
Mhm.
want to ask you as we begin our conversation today, how important has it been for you to do that self evaluation to see if you might be the person that's stopping you?
It is such an important evaluation. And sometimes we have to do it hourly. For me,
Yeah.
there is days where, yes, I've got my clear vision, I've got my goals set ahead of me, and I know what sequence needs to happen. But
Mhm.
then you stumble a bit, and then you feel like a failure. You feel self doubt. And it's so easy to down talk your own thoughts to where it just feels like you're not going to achieve anything. And so often that is where we box in our own selves, is by
Mhm.
negative talk of our own feelings. And so unboxing, getting out of that comfort zone and just saying, no, it might be a stumbling block, but it
Yeah.
does not distract me from my future goals. So it's all in the thought process.
Yeah, such a great point. I was highlighting Tina's book Post Oak as she was talking. Chris says on Facebook, "Good morning to you both. Ready to settle down for my much needed Tina time." I'm so glad you say that, Chris, because I tell Tina she's the co-host here, not a guest. So this is just as much her space as it is mine. So thank you for
Oh
that,
my
Chris.
goodness.
And
Thank you, Chris.
that leads to the second part of this message, Tina, where I say you might feel as though you are imprisoned to your current situation, but the
Mhm.
key to unlocking your potential is within. And it just reminds me of what God has given to each one of us.
Amen.
And I love that scripture that says He's put eternity into our hearts. And I think it's such a great thing for us to remember that literally, as we say, the sky's the limit. It really has
Yeah.
been given for us not to
Mm.
put limitations on myself. And for me, that's something, as Tina says, sometimes we have to remind ourselves of daily. Hey, Wendy, got a chance to meet Wendy in Petersburg, Virginia,
Yay.
too. Hey, Wendy, good to be able to see you over there on Facebook. So, Tina, what about that point for you to remember that the key to unlocking your potential is within? How has that helped you?
Well, as I was preparing for this message this morning, I came across an author, Mr. Lowen, and he had a box of matches on his page, and it said it just has some burnt matches, but then the box is just opened a little bit. And what a powerful visual for me to know that the box of matches is no good. It can be, again, it can be a positive or a negative. A box, one match could lit a forest on fire. But then also, if I use one match to light up a darkened space, which often is my own thinking, then
Mhm,
it will be of such good use. And so we will be that box of matches, whether we light it for the negative or for the positive. Again, there's a
mhm.
choice. Will I
Yeah.
light a lamp and lit my pathway forward, or would I burn down the forest and not have a goal at all? So
Mhm,
we have these choices, and I'm so grateful that we are brought up to align ourselves, color within the lines, and line up the toys perfectly. We teach our children, and we were taught from a very young age to be inside of the box.
mhm.
But the freedom, like the title says, embracing your freedom. The freedom is once we step out of that box, and that
Yeah.
is where we truly find our purpose.
Yeah, such a great point, Tina. I love that. And Tina, as you were talking, what I thought about was now I'm a traditionalist in a lot of different ways. And so when I do a painting, the sky is always going to be blue or light blue or, you know,
Yeah.
and the grass will be green, you know,
Mhm.
but who's to say that it has to be? And I think that's the great thing about creative freedom. And I think
Yeah. Mhm.
for us to allow people to do, to be who they are,
Yeah.
as long as they're
Mhm.
not hurting anyone, I think is such a great thing. Let's see. Ellen says on IG, she has a question for both of us, Tina. She says, "We are our own blocker. I don't think people care about us that much. What is your take on that?" I want to say this, Ellen, and I appreciate that question. I think so many times we keep ourselves from blessings and
Mhm.
opportunities because we worry so much about people who aren't worrying about us. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of times we will say, "What will people think?" And
Mhm.
my objection to that is, who says anyone's thinking anything? you know, a lot of times we'll use it as an excuse
Mhm.
not to do something because we say, well, what if this person doesn't like it? Or what if this person
Yeah.
doesn't want me to do that? I think we sometimes use that for ourselves not to do things. Tina, what is your take on that?
Well, the same as you said that the sky is always blue and the grass green. But
Hmm.
that does not mean that's just one season in a
Yeah.
year where that
Hmm.
where those things are truth. In the fall, the grass is not green. So it depends
Yeah.
on the season that you are in your life.
Yeah.
If you are in a season that the grass is turning gray or brown, then embrace that. Instead of calling it brown, call it golden. So
Hmm.
we all have different seasons in life. And so therefore, I feel that we limit ourselves if we let the fear of others' thoughts about me, I am boxing myself in because I'm not going to be successful or a help to anyone if I've let their emotions detect what I will do.
Yeah. And I'll add to that, Tina. I think we also lose our joy, right? I think one of the things I
Amen.
love about my life is that I love doing everything that I do, but the caveat to that is I only do things that I love. you know,
Exactly.
and when you're doing things or trying to please people and you're not able to be who you truly are, who makes you happy, it's hard to find joy in that for sure. Hello to
Yeah.
you, KJ over on IG. I want to reset real quick, Tina, and say for those who are just tuning in, welcome. You're watching Words I Choose to Live By. We're in week number 9 of 2026. We're discussing week number 9 from my book. You guys see every day here on social media, Words I Choose to Live By. Today's theme is embracing your freedom. And Tina and I were just talking about the importance of setting ourselves free when it comes to feeling caged in by our circumstances, as well as realizing that we have the key to unlock our potential. The other thing that I mentioned in this message, Tina, is release yourself and enjoy the freedom that is waiting for you. It's just one decision away. And I really want our audience to think about that. Here we are beginning a brand new week. We are in countdown mode to the end of February. I want you all to think about that. What you want is truly one decision away. You're one
Yeah.
decision away from your life changing. And I know it can be scary. Tina and I were talking about that before we went live here. I still get scared.
Mm.
But realizing the power that each one of us have is so important. What would you say to our audience, Tina, about that, about the importance of realizing what can be achieved if they're willing to make the choice?
Well, if you envision yourself coming to the front door of a house, you insert that key and you walk into the foyer. That still leaves all the other rooms where you don't know what will meet you there. So
Mm,
the key right here is to take that key, unlock that door, and walk in, and then you will discover what each room, what the potential of each room has, and each room has a different purpose. And
mm,
so, if we don't, like the saying goes, you don't eat the whole elephant. You do it one bite at a time.
mm,
So often, what quenches our ambitions and our goals is we get overwhelmed and
yeah.
then we just let it all go instead of walking into the foyer and then discovering what else does this house hold for me? What
Mm,
else can I do? And those different rooms will give us different opportunities. So moving forward is inserting that key and opening the door and walking in.
yeah, such a great point. Hello to you, Tiffany Wheeler. Good to be to see you over there on Facebook. Hey, Tessa Marie, good to be able to see you over there
Yay.
on IG. Glad you can join us. And I appreciate that, what you said, Ellen. I try to be refreshing and I try, I was raised right. So
Yes.
I was told to treat people the way you want to be treated. It's so important for me. So I know if my mom is watching the replay or live, she'll appreciate you saying that, Ellen. So that goes to this question for you then, Tina, what would you say to our audience about making the decision today about what could literally change their lives?
Well, if we don't make that choice today, then, like you say in one of the other parts of this week's messages, that this moment we will never have again. So if
Mm,
we don't embrace today, then this moment, this day will never cross our pathway again for as long as we live. So it's
mm,
so important that we embrace today. And if you can't do the whole day, do it an hour at a time
yeah,
because this is a fleeting moment and it's important how we choose to live this moment.
yeah. And Tina, I want to say to you, thank you for reiterating that message. I think that's such an important thing. Let's uh thank you for that, Tessa Marie. You said something twice in this message, and I hope our audience gets it. And that is that, you know what, take it we always say take it a day at a time, but take
Mhm.
it a moment at a time. I think a
Yeah.
lot of times we think too big, and that's what gets us frustrated. And we think,
Mhm.
and that's why when I hear people say they had a bad day, I always feel so sad about that because
Yeah.
it probably wasn't a bad day. You may have had a bad moment, a
Moment.
lapse of
Mhm.
judgment, but it doesn't mean the whole day is to be thrown away. I mean, look for
That's
those
true.
moments where you can say, you know what, I'm proud I got this done or I made
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
decision, because those moments do count. And I think that's
Absolutely.
such an important thing for sure. And so for our audience out there, I hope you guys will really take this message to heart. Let's see. Wendy says I'm getting ready to do the cleanse. Thank you, Wendy. That's one of the things we talked about in Virginia, Tina, about cleansing, doing cleanse offline and
Mhm.
online of things that
Yeah.
we know aren't serving us well. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when we do that, we give way for the time where we can focus on the good. We can
Yeah.
be surrounded by that positivity, and that can help us to definitely embrace our freedom. So, again, everyone, week number 9, the message is embracing your freedom. I hope you guys got something out of this you can reflect on throughout the week, but also, of course, being able to share with others as well. Again, this is from my book, Word That I Choose to Live By. And as I mentioned, Tina's other books are available as well. Tina, any final thoughts you have for our audience on today's message?
Well, I was just going to say if you have failed, if you've fallen, there's no shame in that. But staying down is where we struggle and where we fail to do what is best for us and for our purpose of living for others. So
Yeah.
if you've fallen, get up and go again.
There we go. That's a great reminder for all of us. Hope you guys will be able to think about that as you go throughout your day. If you have not gotten your copy of Words I Choose to Live By, it is available here on Amazon as well as my other books as well. Tina, let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you?
Well, it's been great to have all of you join us and wishing each one of you an amazing rest of the day. I'd love to hear from you. My new website is up and going, Heritage by Tina. So let me hear from you. But love to correspond.
All right. So make sure you guys check that out. And she has something very special coming up very soon. Her own solo podcast, which I'm very excited about, Heritage by Tina as well. So make sure you guys look out for that. Thank you again, Wendy. Appreciate you for being with us. Tina, another great week. Looking forward to next week's show.
Amen. Thank
All
you.
right. And I thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Words I Choose to Live By. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.